Yo, it's Renan, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Overwatch 2 rank system and what I've come to realize from playing Overwatch. And some of you may have subscribed for my Lost Ark or WoW content, but a lot of the things I like doing are playing FPS games and aim training and getting really good at aim. So I am a pretty good aimer. Just for my credentials, I've been Immortal 3 in Valorant, and I've been Diamond 1, really close to a Master tier, but then the season ended. Um, in Apex. But coming from games like that, which are very mechanical skill heavy, and being better at aiming basically allows you to climb the ranks pretty quickly, playing a game like Overwatch 2 is quite different, maybe a little humbling, because a lot of the game doesn't require aim, or what I should say is aim isn't the sole requirement for climbing. Whereas if you play Valorant, you'll have people who are very good Jet or Reyna players, for example, who basically never play with the team or anything. They just peek people and get kills and have 40 kills by the end of the game to win the game. That doesn't matter as much in Overwatch. It can in Overwatch 2, where I have had games where I pop off. One game I did play tank and I dropped 85 eliminations and like 25k damage, I think, just killing the enemy team on repeat to win the game. So I mean, there is an element of that, but up and above over everything, aim isn't really the main factor depending on the role you play. And even for DPS, just because you have really good aim doesn't mean you're gonna win. And one thing that is really apparent is that certain roles like tank are really overpowered compared to other roles. So for example, any DPS or support can't really 1v1 most tank characters because you just do not have the damage output, and their damage is very, very formidable and sometimes can one-shot you. Meanwhile, you have to unload 10 bullets directly into the head, and even then you're not going to kill them. So it's really team-oriented of a game, whereas in other games, like I mentioned, you can win a game by killing a bunch of people really quickly. In this game, you can't really do that. You can't really kill a tank quickly. They're just going to bulldoze you. So you need your team to support you, and you need to support your team to win the game. But in low elo, that doesn't happen a lot. You're going to have tanks bulldozing the back line. Nobody's going to help you, and you have to really try to position yourself and learn about, helping your teammates and being around your team as much as possible to avoid getting singled out and killed, more so than other FPS games. And I think one good example of why aim isn't as important in Overwatch as in other games is cheaters in other games like in Apex or Valorant will automatically win the game. Like if you have a good cheat, like good cheats, you're gonna instantly headshot people in Valorant before they can do anything.
It's your fear!
Oh my. Bro, I looked at the minimap to see where the face your fear is. The brimstone just aimed. Oh my!
Or if you play Apex, your tracking is going to be so good that nobody can kill you. Sometimes you even have two guns in Apex when you're cheating and you just kill everybody. But in Overwatch, even if you are hacking, even a hacking McCree can't kill a tank. Like a Zarya pops bubble, that cheater is going to be shooting the bubble and that cheater's dead. You're going to be playing, the Winston jumps on you in the backline when you're playing soldier and you're cheating, perfect headshot accuracy. He's going to be dipping in and out of his bubble, dodging your bullets while killing you the entire time. So in Overwatch, you can tell that aiming isn't as important because being a cheater doesn't automatically mean you win. And because of that, you have to be really, really cognizant of your team in this game, more so than other games I've played. While you can be the solo star, you need to be the best thing you could be in this game is the best team player, whether it's being a tank like a diva and knowing when to charge into the enemy backline, or to peel for your team to help them from getting killed by, say, a Genji or a Reaper or something like that, to help them avoid dying, and then you can pick off this diver. Or being a support, knowing when to heal, using your crowd control abilities to save a teammate or the tank. Those are all so important over aim that this game, while it is an FPS game, you have to kind of think of it like League of Legends or something, where it's very team fight oriented, very team helping, like you helping your teammate out more than anything. And so for people like me who come from aim training and playing very mechanical, skill heavy FPS games like Valorant, it is very eye opening to come to Overwatch and realize, like, yeah, I can kill people really quickly, their backline, but I need to work with my team more to avoid having them die to a Genji or Reaper who pop their ultimate, or to help them kill the tank, because I can't just let the tank fly into my backline without helping them, because they're going to auto lose. And then you can only pray that your team helps you if you're DPS and the enemy diva dives you, because you're just going to lose to that 1v1 every single time unless they're terrible. Um, and you have to realize, if you play this game, that you should focus on your map knowledge, your character knowledge, and your team awareness, no matter what role you play. Because, like I said, every role can help their team. And if you're DPS, usually it's just killing the diver and helping them keep the player alive. With a tank, it's, using your abilities to peel. And then with the support, it's like healing and using your crowd control abilities to peel off a dive character. And I guess that is kind of my thoughts on the game and the rank system, which kind of makes it annoying in some cases where I feel like I'm a very mechanically skilled player, but I just can't get anything done because their enemy team is more coordinated, and I, as a solo player, can't really carry. Whereas a good example is if there's a tank diff on your team and your tank is just playing way worse than the enemy tank, you just auto lose. That is kind of annoying. Um, in this game, and then the higher and higher in ranks you go, the skill gap can be even more apparent. And I don't like that aspect of it, where one role like tank is so deterministic of how your team is going to do that you just auto lose. Another example I want to bring up is like in League of Legends, while one player being a weak link in your team is bad, technically, if you're so much better than the rank you are, you can kill the enemy laner that you're fighting to get a ton of gold. And then even though you have no frontline tank, you're just so far ahead in gold from outplaying your lane that you can kill the enemy team before that tank can do anything. But in Overwatch, if your tank player is getting outplayed, you as a solo player, it's not like I can go back to spawn and buy a better gun and just start one-tapping everybody in the backline. Like, no, I mean, you can keep outplaying the enemy team, but then that tank, no matter how good you are, is just going to kill you. So it is kind of annoying how team dependent you are in this game, and it does make the solo queue experience really tough. But on the other end, Overwatch 2 does allow you to 5-stack all the way up to, I don't know if you can do it up to GM, but you can 5-stack for a lot of the game, a lot of the solo queue experience. So technically you can get away from having a bad tank, but just queuing with a buddy who's a freaking good tank, like I'm doing right now. I'm telling you right now, I'm queuing with a tank player right now who's good, and all of a sudden we're winning every game because having a good tank, one, allows him to bully the enemy team, and that frees me up as a DPS player to, flank and have a lot more backline presence because my tank is distracting the front line, allowing me to harass the backline. But if you have a bad tank, well, then you try to harass the backline of the enemy team, well, all of a sudden they're just all going to turn to you and kill you because your tank player and your other DPS and stuff like that aren't going to be having any presence to punish them, all turning their attention to you. So I guess that kind of rounds out my thoughts on the game, and I might make a guide video for Overwatch 2 when I actually get to a more decent rank, like hopefully Master Tier is when I'm going to make guides for Overwatch once I get good enough knowledge of the game, because while I am really good at FPS games in general, I do need to learn a bunch more about Overwatch because I haven't been playing, or I never played Overwatch 1. So Overwatch 2 is kind of my first attempt at getting good at Overwatch, and I do need a little bit more time with the game before I feel comfortable making guides and whatnot. But hopefully I can reach Master Tier or even GM and make some content for you guys on how to get better at Overwatch. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my rant on Overwatch 2 and the rank system in it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching.